In this episode, we're going to talk about daddy issues. Now, with this modern feminism, it's made it okay for women to look to basically being a whore on the internet as a feasible way of obtaining income. Now, psychologically, sociologically, I guess, if you were to ask what the situation is with their father, if the father is in their life, or if they didn't grow up with their father, or if the father left when they were old enough to understand what a father leaving meant, it's kind of a little understandable that they would do this type of thing. But what if you have your father in your life? That's what I really want to talk about today. Because the former example is a statistic. But what if you have your father in your life? What if you are a grown female adult? You're not in your teens anymore. You're not even in your 20s anymore. You're in your 30s, living with your parents in their house that they paid the mortgage on. And under their roof, you're doing these types of things, regardless if you pay them rent or not. That's moot in this conversation. How is it that if the father is actually there in the house, that these women are doing these types of things? Then where does this daddy issue thing come in? It doesn't make any sense to me because the father is right there. Now I have to really call some shit out here. Any father that's okay with their daughter doing this? Number one, doing it. Number two, doing it in his house. I have to really kind of look at the father not only as an Ahab spirit, the modern simp, but there's something fundamentally wrong with you as a father if you're okay with your daughter doing this. There's something fundamentally wrong with you as a man that is in charge of protecting his daughter. What the hell is wrong with you as a man? Hey, these feminists want us to attack men? Well, here I am, putting the blame solely on the father. It's your job to protect this young lady. And if she still feels that she has to sell her body on the internet in any way, shape, or form, you failed as a father, sir. You failed. Because you're right there in the house. I have seen instances, and I can give you particular specific instances, names and faces, okay, that is coming to mind as I make this episode, that are in their 30s. They're not even in their teens or even 20s anymore. They're in their 30s. They're getting into their mid-30s doing this as a stipend to whatever other business venture that they have. They don't have real jobs, these women. They don't go to work every day. They stay in their house, in their room, locked up all day long. They don't get any sunlight. They don't get that vitamin D. The only D they're getting is... That's another video. The point I'm trying to make here is if you're okay as a father with your daughter doing this on the internet, you're not ashamed of this, especially if you call yourself a Christian. That's the cherry on the top. Okay, this specific example that I am illuminating here, the father is a Christian. How are you as a Christian father, the one that's supposed to biblically, scripturally lead the family spiritually? and you're okay with your daughter doing this on the internet, I would have to look at him as kind of a, what's the word I'm looking for? A creep. Because only a creep would be okay with his daughter doing this. Are you consuming her content? I'm just going to say. You're living in your parents' house, the house you most likely grew up in unless you moved, okay? But the point is that family memories are shared there, and in the same space, under the same roof, you're doing these acts. Behind closed doors. Forget about the magic spells and all of that you're doing in a Christian home. So they're okay with you doing witchcraft under the roof of their Christian home. And they're also okay with you being on OnlyFans or doing these little private shows with your body. Then they've lost their Christian card. They've lost their decent parents card. These are, and if the mother's okay with it as well, as a woman, that just adds to the layers of this dysfunction. Because how are you, as a self-professed Christian woman, Christian man that has your church group come to the house, how are you okay with that? Which lets me know they're just part of the furniture. These are two of the most uninvolved parents. They don't care what their daughter does as long as they get paid. They are not glaringly great examples of true Christian parenting. They're Christian for the label. They're Christian to avoid accountability. But this is not Christian parenting. You're going to sit there and tell me that neither one of them have told her anything about what she's doing. They're getting paid. They're helping to get paid the mortgage and everything. Yeah, she's an adult. But if you're an adult and you make all of this money, you claim to make six figures. I did the research on the average successful, let's say, tarot reader, because this person's a tarot reader, okay? Even in the upper 75th percentile, okay, if you're in the upper percentile, you only make 5 figures. And that's up to $45,000 to $50,000 a year, give or take. And you got to pay taxes on that. There's no way in hell that any tarot reader, even the most successful ones, are making 6 figures, unless you are of a Doreen Virtue type or some kind of well-known type. But if you're successful in the sense that you have maybe 10,000, 20,000 subscribers, that's still considered small. That's still considered a small content creator. But even those only make upwards of 50, maybe if you're lucky, $60,000 a year. There's no way in hell that you are making 6 figures a year unless you're stipending it with something else. And what are they stipending it with? Selling their body. Like, it's not hard to do the math. This is very basic math. Sometimes a woman can have daddy issues with the father still there present in her life, but completely uninvolved. And this person gets no real attention from her father. None. Because if she got the adequate attention, she wouldn't feel the need to do what she's doing. I blame him. I don't blame her at all. Yeah, she's not the most decent of people. You know, she has stolen from other people and everything, but it's like, if you're over here trying to start a conversation with your father and he's so uninvolved and like gives you one-worded answers, like, I don't know what else to tell you. And this glaring example is just part of a bigger problem, because I'm sure it's not the only case that's this way. I have to really question your integrity as a father if you're okay with your daughter doing this under your own roof that you pay the mortgage on. How do you keep a straight face with the rest of your church group knowing that your daughter is selling her body on the internet? How? How? You lost your father card, you lost your Christian card, you lost your decent man card. Like, that is big Ahab behavior. You're willing to sell your daughter's body. Who knows if he's not consuming the content as well. I mean, look, I'm just going to put it out there. We don't know. We don't know. I really have to call men like that into question. You want me to hold men accountable? Here is me holding men accountable. Those types of men. Because it starts with them. There wouldn't be these women on OnlyFans if it wasn't for these types of men. I mean, there's no excuse. You're in your daughter's life. How are you okay with what she's doing? I mean, technically as Christians, we're not supposed to judge, but at the same time, you're supposed to use your discernment as a father. Shame on you, man. Shame on you. I mean, we can blame her all day because she's an adult. Yes, technically she's in her 30s and everything. She's pushing mid-30s, okay? But at the same time, she is doing this for attention she's not getting from him. Not the right type of attention. And at this point, it's gotten to such a point where if he actually decided to be a proper father, she would have a problem with what he's saying. Because what she's looking for is an excuse to keep doing what she's doing. You're going to tell me that you can't save the amount of money that you're saving having a regular job? You have to do these things? And how do you look at your fellow church members in the eye and not feel some sort of guilt that you're okay with what your daughter is doing? And the mother too. I mean, come on, you're a woman, man. You're a woman. You're a fellow woman. You don't know how to teach your daughter better? I guess it's a generational thing. Because if you think about it, if both parents are in their 50s, right? You know, give or take a couple of years. And if she was born in like the 90s, right? In the early 90s, it's a different parenting style than if, let's say, your parents were born in the 40s or the 50s. It's different. Okay? Anything after 1980, it's like if the kids were born after any time after 1985, I believe. It's like getting into 1990, it's like it's just different. It's like night and day. So, you know, there's so many components to this, but you know, I do blame him and men like him. It's like, you know, it's because of your lack of interest in your daughter's life and actually listening what she has to say. She wouldn't feel the need to do this to get attention from all of the men that don't have her best interest at heart. They look at her as a piece of meat. Shame on you. Shame on you. I hereby revoke your father card. You ain't no father. Until next time, guys. Like I said, I can't be the only one that feels this way, okay? Somebody had to sound off on it. But anyway, that being said, stay tuned for the next one. I appreciate you. Don't be a stranger. Subscribe. If you have any questions, just use the available link to ask your question, make your comment, whatever it is that you need to do. But yeah, this needed to be said. Sometimes things just need to be said, you know. Say the truth, tell the truth, even if your voice shakes. Until next time, guys, let's do right out there.